I'm here with Catherine Wedd, who is the National Party candidate for Tongaki. Kia ora, Catherine, and thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Andrew.
That's great. Now, Catherine, just an update on the campaign trail. You've been on it for quite a number of months now. How's it all going?
You know, it's going really well. We've been running a really strong ground campaign. So lots of door knocking, meeting thousands and thousands of people here in Tongaki, and certainly feeling a mood for change. People really frustrated, obviously, with the cost of living and really feeling hardship out there at the moment. But also the crime that's coming up at the doors a lot, you know, people really wanting to restore law and order. But education and health, another two big, strong issues where people feel that, you know, there's a lot of wasteful spending, but they're just not seeing the outcomes, a lot of bureaucracy and centralisation. And particularly for provincial New Zealand here in Hawke's Bay, you know, we want to see better outcomes.
Because now next week early voting starts, so getting really close to the actual event. How does your strategy change in terms of campaigning with early voting starting?
Well, as I said, I've been running a really strong ground campaign from the start. So lots of door knocking, really visual, really just getting out there and connecting with as many people as I can. So I'm really understanding our community, and this won't change. The next 2 weeks will be really, really crucial for us. We'll just be out there, very visual, and connecting with as many voters as we possibly can, and making sure that we're really accessible as well for everyone to ask questions, because, you know, this is a really, really important election, and if people genuinely want to change the direction that this country is heading in, they need to party vote national.
Because Tongaki is traditionally won in Havelock North and in the rural areas. If you win those, you've got a good chance of getting the seat. Have you been concentrating on those areas, or where else have you been campaigning?
Oh, I've been concentrating everywhere, Andrew. I mean, obviously, we've got a really diverse electorate. So, you know, we have Havelock North, we have Hastings. I've been spending a lot of time in Hastings, and then Flaxmere as well. And then, of course, we've got the growers and the farmers, and I've been spending a lot of time down in CHB. I was down in Waipawa last week, and then around in Onga Onga and Tikakino, and then, of course, Clive as well as a large area with Hamoana, Te Wonga. It's really important that we are seen and out there everywhere across the electorate. So I've been really mindful of that and making sure that I'm connecting with as many people in our diverse communities as I possibly can.
Now, you say you've been connecting and you've been door knocking a lot and that. What has the reaction been? What are people saying to you, and have you had any negative reactions?
No, really positive. There's certainly a mood for change, but people are really feeling the cost of living at the moment. They really want to strengthen the economy, and, you know, that has been pretty much the number one issue that I'm coming across on the doors, but also the crime. I mean, just this week there was another ram raid in Clive at the dairy there. I went and visited them, and then a few people around the community there. And, you know, people are really fearful at the moment. It is scary out there, and we need to make sure that we've got safer communities. And so there is a real drive from people wanting to see that we are restoring law and order. And so, you know, that's one of our really key areas, is to make sure that we are cracking down on crime and that we are creating safer communities once again.
Because you know, crime, as you say, is a big issue. Yeah. So you mentioned the ram raid. What other experiences are people having with crime that you're picking up on?
Oh, I mean, I've been to several dairy owners in the Cornwall Park dairy. They were recently the victim of an axe attack. Also, the Frimley Foursquare, they've been ram raided several times as well. So there's a lot of that going on. but youth offending and, obviously the gangs. People are feeling very intimidated by the rise in gangs that we're seeing. We've had a 71% increase in gang membership here in Hawke's Bay alone, and it's really important that, we need to get on top of the gangs. It's unacceptable that they are shutting down roads and schools and towns, and some of those scenes that we've seen. And so part of our National Party policy is to crack down on the gangs and gang patches in public, and we'll issue police with the ability to issue dispersal notices so that they can stop gangs from congregating, and also make sure that they can have search list warrants so that they can get hold of those illegal guns and weapons, but also just making sure that we are sending a really powerful message to the gangs that it's unacceptable, and we're really going to crack down as a national government overall on gangs and crime, and ensure that we have safer communities and there isn't this intimidation going on.
Now, there's been a bit of a roadshow of meet the candidate meetings and that, and where there've been some of the candidates, all of the candidates at times. How have you found these, and or what do you think? Do you think you've been able to get your message across?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've had a lot of Meet the Candidate evenings in various areas across the electorate, and it's been great that we've had a lot of organisers putting their time into making sure that everyone's got an opportunity to meet the candidates. And I think that's really important for us to be able to get our policies across and answer questions from the audience and ensure that people are well informed in this critical election, because, it is a really, really important election for where our country's heading. And for Tongaki, particularly because we have just had a cyclone and we've had a lot of damage done here, and we've still got a lot of families and people out there still in limbo, and we've got a big rebuild and recovery on our hands. So, it's been great to meet the candidates, and I hope that people feel well informed, because we are heading to the voting booth on Monday. It's coming around really quickly, and it's a really, really important election.
Yeah, now you up against the incumbent MP, Labour's Anna Hawke. Why do you think you can beat her?
Oh, I think I've got a lot of support. I think people really want to see national government in there, but also I've got a lot of practical and commercial experience, which I think that I bring to Tongaki. Obviously, I've worked in the horticulture sector as head of marketing for Bostock, New Zealand, but also on the board of New Zealand Apples and Pears. We've seen billions of dollars of damage done to our horticulture sector following the cyclone. And we really need someone standing up for our primary industries and our exporters here to make sure that they've got the support that they need to grow back our economy here. And I think that I bring a lot of value in that area. Part of my role in the past has been, standing up on the global stage and promoting the premium produce that we grow here in Hawke's Bay to the world. And I've seen a government in the past 6 years just absolutely hammer our growers and our farmers with a lot of red tape, bureaucracy, regulation, cost. And, these are the businesses that are going to drive this country out of the debt that this government has got us into. And so it's really, really important that we are supporting a food producing region and being aspirational for Tongaki. And that's what I believe I am. I'm going to be aspirational for our food producing region, make sure we get the wheels moving, make sure we can strengthen this economy so we're reducing the cost of living for everyone and everyone's doing better.
Now, a lot has been made. People have criticised the National Party for not coming clean, if you like, on the tax, how they're going to pay for the tax cuts and that. This must be something you get asked a lot. What do you have to say about that?
Oh, I think it's absolutely rock solid. Our plan is rock solid. The fiscal plan's coming out today, which you will see later on. But no, it's well researched, it's well evidenced, and we have said that we're going to provide hard-working New Zealanders with tax relief, and it's really, really important because there's a lot of people that work really, really hard out there, but they're just feeling at the moment that they're not getting ahead. And We want to reward hard work. That's very much part of the National Party values. And so we want to provide hardworking New Zealanders with tax relief. And under a national government, they will see tax relief.
Yeah. Now, if you get into Parliament, you won't only be representing National Party supporters, you'll be representing the whole electorate. How will you handle that, and what do you have to say about that?
One of my main focuses will be ensuring that I'm really present here on the ground and that I am really representing our constituents and the people of Tongaki. That's going to be really, really important to me. I'll always be here for the people of Tongaki, so I'll make sure that I'm out and about as much as possible, around our electorate. So from central Hawke's Bay with our farmers to our growers to the people of Hastings, to the people of Havelock North, to the people of Flaxmere, Clive, Tiawonga, Waimarama, across the electorate. It is really, really important that I'm accessible, I'm here, and I'm here to represent the people and needs of Tongaki.
That sounds good, but also you have to be in Parliament, and there are sort of strict party rules and that of how often you have to be there. So you will spend a large part of your time in Wellington. So it's going to be a big task for you.
That you balance obviously your work in Wellington and delivering on the policy and getting things done for the people of Tongaki, visually present in our electorate with the people of Tongaki. I think it's really important, and I've always been heavily involved in the community with my family out there a lot as well, and in my jobs. But also, there will be that very important work that we're getting done around the table in Wellington as well. So, I'm certainly up for it, and I'm hoping that I will be the next local MP for Tongaki.
Well, I know you don't like, or most politicians don't like to talk about what happens if they lose. You're pretty much guaranteed on poll numbers of getting into Parliament as an MP anyway.
Yeah, I was fortunate to get a really high place on the list, number 23, and that's a fantastic endorsement of Hawke's Bay, and how National is very, very focused on provincial New Zealand. Both Katie Nimmin and I are number 22 and number 23, and Hawke's Bay is really, really important to the National Party and making sure that we are being represented, provincial New Zealand. But at the same time, I'm very, very driven to be an electorate MP, and I want to be the MP for Tongaki, representing our constituents. And so I hope that people will put their confidence in me to work really, really hard for our region and make sure that we are getting things done.
Why should the voters of Tongaki put their confidence in you, as you said?
I think I've always been really passionate about my community. I'm a mother of 4 children, and I have a lot of commercial and practical experience to bring to the table in terms of my horticulture background, but also I'm really hardworking and committed to representing the people of Tongaki and being part of the National Party team. And I think that there's a really clear choice in this election. It's either more economic mismanagement and dysfunction with Party Māori, Labour and the Greens, or it's a strong national government which is going to strengthen the economy, reduce the cost of living, restore law and order, and ensure that we have better health and education outcomes. So I'm really asking people to party vote National and vote me as their local candidate to get our region back on track.
Catherine Wedd, thank you so much for your time, and all the best for the rest of the campaign.
Thank you, Andrew.